When it comes to building a new home or decorating an existing one, there's always dozens of decisions to be made. Today on For Your Home, we're going to be exploring all the options that you can choose from when it comes to tile, carpeting, countertops, cabinets, paint, and stain. So don't go away. It's a big decision day on For Your Home.
For Your Home is made possible by
Anderson Hardwood, committed to producing distinctive, environmentally responsible hardwood flooring while helping to create a better planet for today and tomorrow. For more information, go to andersonfloors.com. Anderson, naturally.
And by Ames. Ames True Timber has offered innovative landscape products since 1774, providing non-powered lawn and garden tools, wheelbarrows and lawn carts, watering products and decorative accessories, including planters. And by
Custom Home Furnishings Academy, where the professionals learn to sew window treatments.
This has been a really fun project. We're building a custom-built 5,700 square foot traditional farmhouse. And over the last few months, whether you are building a custom home like us or you're at home doing your own remodeling project, you've got all kinds of decisions that you're going to have to make. And we're not just talking about decorating decisions. We're talking about everything, every single little item that goes into the house. You're going to work hand in hand with your team to get those decisions made. During the past 8 months, we have cleared our lot, built the house, selected everything from the flooring systems and insulation to the siding and the stone. I hope you've enjoyed the process as much as I have. Today we're going to be making some important selection when it comes to both the cosmetic and the functional surfaces of this home, sort of from the floor up, so to speak. When it comes to flooring in any home, you have lots of different surfaces and lots of different functions you need to consider when you're making those flooring decisions. Now, in this particular house, boy, did we have a lot of decisions to make. For the main body of the house, though, we selected beautiful, rich hardwood flooring. Now, the hardwood flooring that's being installed right now is actually hand-scraped maple, and it has a hickory stain on it. Hardwoods are a perfect selection for almost any kind of flooring issues. Now, they're installing it as we go along, and they're putting down a urethane epoxy on the floor, and then they're fitting the boards in, their tongue and groove, and they'll fit them and just work their way right out across the floor. They're using tape across the boards to hold them in place so they set up until the epoxy takes hold. Because they're pre-finished floors, we'll be able to walk on these as soon as they get them installed and the glue has dried. Now, one of the things you want to think about when you're making those flooring selections is the transition from one room to the other. What do I mean by transition? Well, have you ever been in a house where it's all chopped up? Well, in our case, we want this flooring just to flow from one room to the other. We're in what we call the rotunda area of the master suite. And in this area, if we were to stop right around the edge doors and transfer to carpeting or tile, it wouldn't give us that beautiful flow we want. So there's architectural considerations to think about as well. Now, generally in most homes, you're going to find when you get to the bathroom or areas that have a lot of water, people typically would switch to a tile floor. But more and more homeowners are enjoying the rich look of wood right into their kitchens and right into their bathrooms. We're going to run those hardwood floors, keeping with that flow, right through the main part of our master bathroom, except in this area. Now, this is the water closet where the toilet is going to be. For this area, we switched to ceramic tile for the floor. Nice, just real traditional old farmhouse pattern. We'll do the same thing, of course, in our shower area. But in other areas of the home, we've made other selections. For example, in our sunroom, we wanted the sunroom to look like it was a porch that had been added on years later. So we used horizontal planking boards for the walls and for the ceiling, and for the floor, we switched to brick. Now, let's take a look at some of the other choices we made in some of the other bathrooms.
In the boys' bathroom, we selected a bluish gray slate Tuscan tile with just a nice detail strip around the top of the shower. In the girls' bedroom, it was our fantasy oasis for our princess. We decided that in the bathroom we wanted to keep that pink and white theme going, so we used beautiful pink glass tiles in varying shades and a diamond accent in the floor. Moving downstairs, the gentlemen's quarters had some very impressive tile. We used a tortoise-shell colored backsplash. It's glass tiles in that brick-inspired design pattern again. For the floor, we selected a porcelain Italian-style tile, large, big, massive, and beautiful. We wanted to keep our guest quarters gender neutral, but also match it to the rest of the downstairs. We used another sea glass inspired tile, but this time with a lighter blue hue that matches perfectly with the slate tile that we used for this space.
You know, for the bedrooms here at the house and some of the children's play areas, I selected carpet. Now, you want to look at carpet from a couple of different perspectives. First of all, you want carpet that's going to be easy to care for, cleans up well, and it's going to wear terrific over the years. And then you want to pick out something that you fall in love with. If you haven't been out and looked at carpet lately, you're in for some really wonderful surprises. Now, I selected the carpet. Let's start with the playroom upstairs, because that's going to be for kids and it's going to have a lot of activity going on. And it's a big, big space. So a nice way to work with a large area is to use one of today's great new patterned carpets. Take a look at this one. This has got little circles and little squares, so it has a fun, playful child kind of attitude to it. And I also had lots of different colors I could choose from. So once you pick out your pattern first, then you're ready to get into a specific color. Now, I'm going to be using some orange and raspberry fabrics in that area, and so these are the two I'm going to go back and forth between. The rust color will grow with kids, the red will as well, so they're both fun ones and have a good look to them. Downstairs in the basement, I'm going to use carpet in the basement area, and that's a great place for carpet because, you know, sometimes basements kind of can have that tendency to be a little bit cooler and need something to kind of warm it up, soften it up. Carpet's perfect. My idea for that space is to have it look like a gentleman's quarter. We have a bar down there and we're going to put a poker table and lots of fun kind of areas. So let's don't be boring with our carpet. Let's step it up a notch. Let's go with a pattern carpet. And the one that I chose is, again, a nylon carpet, and it's a two-tone. You know, see how it's got the dark color here and then it's got the line running through it? So there's a lot of choices. Again, pick out the pattern, then the color. Now, for the upstairs boys' room, one of my favorites of all kinds of floor coverings is that sisal look. But if you've had sisal rugs before, you know they can be really rough. They hurt your feet when you walk barefoot, and to crawl around on as a little kid, they are not fun. So when I found this carpet, I was really excited because it looks like sisal, doesn't it? Look at all these wonderful colors I had to choose from. But when you touch it, it is so soft and so comfortable. This is going to wear well. It's going to give me the same kind of look I want. And I'm going to go with this color right here, a nice medium tone. Now, for another area, for like a little girl's room, I suggest you go kind of soft and plush. Because remember, a lot of times you want to get that princess look. Well, this is really beautiful. Look how thick and lush this is. It's got a nice wide twist on it, so it really has some heft to it. But by picking out white, it's got that princess written all over it. So these are the carpets that I'm going to be using through this house. When you get ready to look for yours, think about, make sure they're going to last, pick out a pattern you like, and then work with your colors. That way it won't be so confusing. And here's another tip for you to think about. Try to work with something that can be recycled. And if you've got carpet and you're replacing it, ask your installer, say, hey, are you planning on recycling this carpet? Because there are drop-off places all over the country where they can take your used carpet, drop it off, and something like nylon can be recycled. And to tell you the truth, all of these are made from recycled products. So get out there and do a little green. Make sure you don't fill up the landfill with that old carpet. Well, it's always at this point in the selection process that I have to ask myself which comes first, the chicken or the egg? Do I pick out the cabinets and then the countertops, the tile and then the countertops? Well, the real answer is pick it all out at once so that you're sure everything goes together. You know, if you're doing a new house like this, you pretty well can decide on anything that you want and get it all to go together. But if you're doing a remodeling project, then you're probably keeping some things and you're just adding to it. I recently just changed the countertops in my kitchen and it made a world of difference. So you've got those decisions that you have to make, and when you get out there and you start looking at the stone yards and the fabricators, you're going to find that the sky is the limit. Now, somebody has to kind of rein me in when I have no limits, right?
Yep, that's what we're here for.
This is Rick Sears, and he's with Innovative Stone, and he did a pretty good job of reining me in, don't you think?
Yeah, there's quite a bit of choices out there in the market, so the sky's the limit.
Okay, well now let's go through some of the ones that we finally ended up with here.
Okay, here in the kitchen, we actually have a stone called Bianco Antique. It's from Brazil. Many of the granites nowadays are from Brazil, but they are imported from all over the world. In your project here, we have used stones from Saudi Arabia, India, Egypt, and of course, as I mentioned before, Brazil.
Well, you know, when you're going all over the world, you pretty well do have a lot of options. Now, in the office, we ended up deciding on what type of
we went with the color in there, which is called antique brown. It's also known in the market as maroon cohiba. There are several different names, and that's always a chore, too, if people are shopping granite, that they do go by multiple names because distributors like to differentiate themselves.
Yeah, and that makes it kind of confusing, is because it's called one thing here and called another thing there. So once you've decided on a stone yard, you just need to kind of go with them and stay with those color selections.
Exactly. And now there are a couple of different options as well for granite. Here in this kitchen we have a polish. Now in your study area there where we do have the antique brown, we went ahead and honed it down. So we took the polish off, which also gives the customers a lot of different options because you really can make it fit your style.
And that softer look of a honed finish like that. And I found too that if you're going with a dark color, a honed finish doesn't show dust as bad as a shiny one or little crumbs and stuff, so that works better. But in a kitchen, I really love the shine and the sparkle that we used here. Downstairs, we have a bar area that's in the kind of the den or the entertainment space that we're doing. And what was the material we ended up choosing?
We went with a marble called Sunny Dark, and it really went well with your porcelain tile, which is something you said before, the chicken and the egg. It's just when you have a new project, you have these options to you as well.
You know, one of the things that I really enjoy about any of the decorating processes or the building process that I've gone through over the years is really finding out how they make something. Now, your buyers travel all over the world, as you said, and select these stones. And then what happens once you've identified a space that you're going into to get it out of there?
Well, we go ahead and quarry it. Really, you are obligated to the local registrations limit. Some places do blast mine the granite out of the hill, others just saw it out. But it goes from a block format, which a block is on average about 10 foot long, 7 foot wide. So it goes from block to bundle to slab, and slabs are what you're going to find at your local distributors. Nowadays with the machinery, most shops are using CNCs, water jets. However, a lot of the shops actually in the market still do use just saws, what's known as a bridge saw. A lot of the angles are going to be straight when you're talking about a bridge saw. It's an 18-inch saw blade, which cuts it. A way to upgrade it and really design it and make it your own as well is with the edge. And that's another way to just dress it up and make it, personalize it, make it your own. Now, that could be done with the machine or it could be done with a hand polisher or a router.
Okay, so the whole process is really detailed and it gives us lots of options. We've got edges, colors, materials, the whole thing. So, see, that's why it was so hard for me to make my choices. Thanks, Rick, for helping me out.
Well, now, I hope you have a different sink, or what's up with this blue sink?
Well, this blue sink would be what we refer to as a mistake.
Okay.
This is going out, this is going out, and a white one's coming in.
Oh, well, excellent. I think that'll make this kitchen look a lot better.
Is like a lot of fun, and you can really do some experimental things with it and end up with a whole new look for a room that you're working on, whether it's new construction or you're remodeling. One of the things that I like to do when I'm planning a room is to look through some magazines, go online, get some resources. I found this room shot online and I really loved the way the dark tray ceiling was painted. It really gave it like it just disappears into the midnight sky perhaps. I wanted to create that same illusion in this room because we also have a beautiful tray ceiling. So that means two colors of paint. Now, once you've decided on your fabrics and the things that you're going to use in the room, like this is our bedding and this is for our upholstery pieces, then you can really get serious about the colors you pick out. Working with those 2 color choices, this is what I ended up with. Now, this is going to be the wallpaper, so all of it's going to work together. But there's one more step that you want to go through before you actually buy the big gallon of paint. Nowadays, there are certain brands of paint that will allow you to buy just a small 8-ounce test size. You can go home, paint it on the wall, live with it a little bit, and see how you like it. That's what we decided to do. Okay, we're going to start off with the light color of paint that I want to use on the wall. And we're going to come right back here, and the wall you want to paint it on. Now this is important because, you know, don't pick a dark wall. Pick a wall that's going to have pretty average lighting, but truly with 8 ounces, you could put a square of paint out on each one of the walls to be sure you liked it. Now, isn't that a beautiful color? Ooh, I'm loving this already. But remember, this color is going to change a little bit as it dries. One of the things you don't have to worry about it changing, though, is because this paint has primer built right in it. That means a lot of things to us. First of all, as a designer, the color that it is on the color chip is going to be the color it is when it dries on the wall. How many times have you bought paint, you go home, you put a coat of primer on, after that dries, you put a coat of paint on, and then it's not quite the same color you picked out? That's because the primer and the paint don't always work together. But if you're working with a paint that has the primer already mixed in it, you've eliminated that problem. Plus, there's another problem that I like about it, and it saves me time. I don't have to do 2 coats of paint. It's going to cover really well with most colors in 1 coat, and I didn't have to take that extra time to do a primer. Okay, now let's look at our darker color and see how it's going to look. You know, a lot of times we start painting our room, and then all of a sudden we go like, ooh, I really don't like this color, but we've invested all the money, and we don't want to change. But you know what the real investment is? It's your labor. So always be sure you love the colors before you do a whole room. Okay. I'm loving these colors. What are you thinking? They're looking really good. But like I said, we need to let them dry. Once they're dried, then we can really match them up to everything, be sure we're totally happy with it, and then we'll be ready to give the painters the go-ahead. Now, let's see, around here I've got painters, but maybe at your house, that painter might be you, and you're going to love saving time and getting the color you want. Well, I really had to work hard to come up with the right color for the outside, don't you think? I went with pure white. Now, why white? Well, because if you drive around out in the countryside and you look at those old farmhouses, the majority of them are white. But we brought it up to the new age because this white paint is a semi-glossy enamel, and it has the primer mixed right in with it, just like we used on the interior. Why was that a great thing to do? Because A, we don't have to prime it and then paint it, so that saved us time, and it saved us money because we didn't have all that extra time and labor and materials. So this is a great way to go. Plus the paint, with this nice semi-gloss finish to it, we can wipe dirty handprints or cobwebs or any dirt off of it really easy, and it won't leave a mark on the outside. And I absolutely love the way this shiny white clean paint looks with the black roof, don't you? Okay, now this is something that I want to add to my own backyard. This is an outdoor fireplace, and do you know it's one of the #1 requested items for people that are either redoing their backyards or are building custom homes like we are here? You know, outdoor fireplaces, though, they're different than the indoor ones because they're specifically designed to be used outside. This is a natural wood-burning fireplace, and it's going to have a nice stone hearth on it so you can put your chairs out here on a Flagstaff patio, put your feet up. And here in the Carolinas, we can enjoy an outdoor fireplace just about through the entire winter. And we're going to have a couple of shoulders, or those little angled sides on each side of the fireplace here. It'll all be covered with stone, and the stone is the same kind as we're using on the house, so they'll tie in beautifully together. If you're thinking about doing a backyard remodel project or you're building that new custom house, make sure you add this to your list of things you want to have. Sooner or later, moving day is going to arrive at your house. And when your home is as near completion as this one is, it's time to start packing. The earlier you start, the easier moving day will be. Start off by using new boxes and get yourself a nice variety of sizes. It makes packing much easier. You want to make sure you get bubble wrap to wrap those delicate items in. It'll really protect them. This is one of my favorite tools, and that's a tape dispenser. And I like to use clear strapping tape. It really holds well. You can pick these items up at any of your commercial box stores. That's where you're going to get your best value. Look in the yellow pages for the companies that make and sell boxes. They'll also have bubble wrap and tape in bulk. Save yourself a lot of money. I also like to keep some of these handy. These are these little zip ties. So when I'm wrapping up lamps or appliances, extension cords, I can just tie those wires up and keep them from wandering all around. Get yourself a notebook or a pad of paper and a pen and write down every box that you pack. Number your boxes and write just a brief description of what's in that box. Then when the movers come and get the boxes, check them all off as they're loaded on the truck. When they get unloaded, check them off as well. And that way, if a box is missing, you'll know what you've lost and what's in it. Now, do yourself a favor, color code your boxes and the rooms they're going into. You can do it with magic markers or with colored labels printed off your computer. We have pink ones, maybe for your girls' room, blue for your sons, red for the kitchen. You get the idea. That helps with the movers getting those boxes where they go. Start saving those plastic bags from the grocery store if you're not using recycle bags, which you ought to be. And when you run across things like craft paint or maybe glue, put them into these kind of bags and tie them up so that they don't leak in the boxes and ruin everything. Keep yourself an open box like this because you never know when you run across like a parrot, what the heck you gonna do with it? Throw it in the junk box, or maybe some silk flowers. Throw those in there. Then when you get your new house, you can put all this junk back in your new junk drawer. Don't pack away your tools. Be sure you keep out a screwdriver with a couple of heads, like a flat head and a Phillips head. You never know when you need to take down a shelf or a towel bar or something, then you're going to need those tools. Keep your cleaning supplies handy as well, because if you're a good neighbor, you'll clean your house before you leave it for the new owners. Whenever you're building a new home, or maybe you're working in your existing home, you probably have a vision in your head of what you want it to look like. But if you don't, then you need to start thinking about it, because in this case with this house, I wanted it to look like a 100-year-old farmhouse. I wanted people that walk past it, either on the street or on the golf course, to look up and say, do you think that's the original farmhouse of this big area? And that really helped me with all of my vision. But you may not stop to think that your yard can help you tell that story. Well, in this case, we got a lot of yard, and I consider myself a gardener, but when I look at 2.5 acres, I am totally overwhelmed. So the best thing that you can do if you're planning a new yard is to enlist the services of a landscape architect. And my friend Scott here, I got him to come along and twisted his arm and said, Scott, help me with this project.
Right, and I'm glad to do it.
Okay, so now what is your vision here? What do you see, some kind of elements you'd like to incorporate in this property?
Well, I think it'd be great to come up with that old farmhouse, even in the area, the old Springs house or some other things. Come in immediately and have an old orchard grove or a peach grove, kind of in a gridded format as you kind of come in to set up this picture or this old farmhouse, and then bring you on center line, frame it with the house, but then bring you offline and get back into your regular drive that comes into the back of the garages. And then as you come in, also take advantage of these great natural landscape that you have, this trees. Do some clearing of the underbrush, but then over time, but not too much, right? Not the significant trees, just the understory, so that you can add some understory material like azaleas that will add great color through the the
Can we
spring.
plant some trees, maybe like dogwoods?
Yeah,
and
some
things like
dogwoods would be excellent as well. So this would be things that you could augment over time, and it would be great as understory plantings.
Well, I know you've been working on the plans for this, and you've met with our landscaper who's going to actually be doing the physical part of this, and we have a big plant list that you've been putting together. So I think that this yard is going to be just wonderful when we get it all laid out, and it's really going to be what I want it to be for this house. Hey, David, what are you
Vicki.
doing here?
Just trying to get ready to get started.
Well, Scott and I were just talking about your ears must have been burning.
Well, we're getting ready.
Well, you know, he has a lot of great plans, and I know you've got a lot of great plans for this yard. I can't wait to see them all come together. How long is it going to take you to get this whole place in shape?
Probably about 2 weeks.
Really?
Yeah.
2 weeks?
Yeah.
Boy, you make me feel really bad. As a backyard gardener, it would take me 2 years to get this done.
We're going to have a bunch of guys come in. We'll get it taken care of.
That's what I need, is more guys around my house, right, to make it happen. Now, I want to thank Rick Sears for joining me today and helping us with all of our countertops. They just look terrific. Hope you got some ideas for some remodeling projects at your house. Now, next time on For Your Home, Scott, Dave, and a whole lot of guys are going to shape up this yard. We're going to get a beautiful landscape project completed here. So I hope you'll join us next time on For Your Home.
If you would like additional information about today's guests or project ideas, please visit us on the web at foryourhome.com. We will do our best to help you out. For Your Home is made possible by
Shaw Floors offers distinctive flooring options to fit a variety of decors. Shaw strives to have a positive impact on the environment by producing recyclable products like Anso nylon carpets and Epic hardwoods. Shaw, where great floors begin.
And by Ames. Ames True Timber has offered innovative landscape products since 1774, providing non-powered lawn and garden tools, wheelbarrows and lawn carts, watering products and decorative accessories, including planters. And by
Custom Home Furnishings Academy, where the professionals learn to sew window treatments.